The global leadership has a lot on its agenda. But one issue trumps everything, a waiver on Wuhan virus vaccine patents. Europe has been stonewalling it, and we've been reporting it. But now Europe is facing a pushback from within. European lawmakers have backed a waiver. They have passed a resolution in the European Parliament. 355 lawmakers backed the waiver, 263 were against it, 71 abstained. Now, this resolution is not binding on the European Commission. There are two things, the European Parliament and the European Commission. The European Commission is the executive arm of the European Union, the one that is pushing back against a waiver at the World Trade Organization. But this resolution in the European Parliament does build pressure on the European leadership to play a constructive role during the negotiations. Until now, the EU has played the role of a disruptor. It has resisted a debate on the waiver. It has even pushed its own resolution, one that favors voluntary licensing instead of patent waivers. What does voluntary licensing do? It means vaccine makers will be given the option of sharing their patent with other manufacturers, like AstraZeneca with the Serum Institute in India. What does a patent waiver do? Anyone who can make the vaccine will be allowed to do so if there's a waiver. This is the difference. Now, Europe's attempts to block this waiver have suffered two setbacks. Number one, on Wednesday, the World Trade Organization agreed to debate the waiver. It launched a process towards drafting an agreement. It's a small but important step towards making that waiver official. And number two, perhaps the more important development, key European heads of state are now openly backing a waiver in public. Take Emmanuel Macron, for instance. Ahead of the G7 summit, the French president posted this. He said, from day one, France has worked to make solutions to the pandemic a global public good. Dose sharing, opening up of intellectual property, financing of health systems, it's up to the G7 to get involved. Now, this is a clear endorsement of a patent waiver. And there's another supporter in Europe, and that is Spain. The Spanish government believes the proposal signals the quote-unquote way forward. Then we have Poland. It has backed the waiver. So far, more than 100 countries around the world have supported the proposal of a patent waiver, which was first initiated by India and South Africa. The European leadership looks increasingly isolated in its bid to block the waiver. But the opposition from Brussels just keeps getting stronger. Earlier this week, the president of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, toed the line of the big pharma. Listen to this.
Vaccine production requires, of course, a lot of know-how. We all know that. They require know-how, they require technology, they require skilled personnel, and, of course, infrastructure. And I think it is not by simply waiving intellectual property rights that you get there. It is actually by collaboration and, if need be, compulsory licensing, that you enhance technology transfer. Because the patent is not telling the whole story.
Those arguments are straight out of Big Pharma's playbook. Pharma giants have a lot of clout in Brussels. This is something we've reported in the past, how European commissioners with a direct stake in medicines and vaccines are trapped in Big Pharma's echo chamber. From March last year to May this year, they have met with pharmaceutical companies 140 times, European leaders. And in this period, they granted just one meeting to supporters of a waiver. Big Pharma is spending big money for this kind of access. Last year, Europe's top trade group on pharma spent more than 5 million euros on lobbying European Union officials. That's well over $6 million. Who is part of this trade group? Pfizer, AstraZeneca, Johnson & Johnson, three major vaccine producers. So it should not come as a surprise that European leaders are blocking a patent waiver. And in the process, they're keeping life-saving shots out of the hands of those who need them. In fact, the actions of European leaders have made sure that the vaccines remain in the hands of the elite. Last month, in a clear attempt to corner America for not sharing vaccines with the world, Ursula von der Leyen claimed that the European Union is a leader in vaccine export. She said the European Union is the only continental democratic region of this world that is exporting on a large scale. Well, here's what she did not tell the world. Who was getting these shots? The global elite. By the end of March, countries like the United Kingdom, Canada, Japan, Mexico, and Saudi Arabia had got the bulk of European shots. Whether it's the issue of patents Or the issue of distribution of vaccines. The European Union is single-handedly promoting vaccine inequality. And now its hypocrisy is being called out from within. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.